So we're going to be talking a little bit about money right now. Let me give you another couple other ideas. The ideas on prosperity I'm going to give you are not the right ones. They're just a couple of other ideas. One way I like to say it is prosperity is when the ends overlap. In America, we have this saying, everybody's trying to make ends meet. Okay? Well, you go beyond that. Prosperity is when the ends overlap. Some people have told me it's when I have everything I need. Well, need isn't going to cut it, because that is such a personal thing. I'd like to share a little story of a commercial I watched years ago when the economy was a lot better. But there was an advertisement on television for a Hummer. Now, as most of you know, this is this great big monstrosity of a vehicle, and in this ad, like if you were looking at the ad, there's this Hummer going across this natural terrain. That's way out in the wilderness someplace, very rough terrain, and it's going across. There's no words, there's no music. It just says Hummer. And at one point, whoever did this ad was extremely clever in psychology, in sales psychology, because what happened was, you're watching this happen, and about halfway through, as I figured out later, but about halfway through, I'm starting to think, who needs that? And it was just so far out, who needs that? I'm just thinking that thought when these words come out, fading in over the picture, and it says, define need. Right at the moment where I was thinking that. And then I had to laugh, and I had to agree, because need is very, very personal. Okay? It all depends on what you want to do as to what you decide you need. Okay? So that's not a very good criteria for prosperity. Okay? And also it has its own inherent limitations. The other aspect of prosperity I brought, and this was brought up by some people, the idea is prosperity is having enough to share. Because prosperity, if you begin to think of it only in terms of yourself, you're limiting the potential for yourself as well as the benefit for the people around you. Because I have to tell you something. And I know this has produced a lot of gasps and shocks and a few faintings in the past.
Okay, we'll brace ourselves.
Ready?
Yeah.
Money comes from people. Doesn't drop down out of the sky, or very rarely, and if it does, it belongs to somebody else.
Yeah.
But money comes from people. And they have to receive money so that they have money to give to other people, because money itself is only something that you use to exchange goods and services. And so the real key element here is that if we want prosperity, there have to be a lot of goods and services exchanged. And money is the medium, the most common medium for that. Money is not the paper bills, the currency, okay? The coins, whatever they might be, you know, we take out a bill, and this is not money. In the common language, we call it money, and we think of it as money, and when we have a lot of money, it means we've got a big stack of these things. But this isn't what real money really is. This is a symbol, a representation of money. And then we get to, okay, what is really money? Some people would love to have it be gold. And, you know, gold has some intrinsic qualities that are kind of neat. Okay, it doesn't tarnish the real stuff. That's a nice thing. It doesn't have any inherent value for exchanging goods and services. This is just something people decided to do. And so they give it a value so that they can exchange goods and services of that value. Well, you know, started to realize, not too many years ago, that it was really hard to keep all kinds of gold that was just sitting there and doing nothing. Okay? And it was getting more and more bulky, and if somebody wanted some money, you had to exchange and put this on a ship in a locked case and send it to some... So most of the nation states in the world changed the entire definition. And so the whole prosperity, let's take the United States as an example, is based on the gross national output of the American workers. That's the basis of the dollar. Now, of course, then we have other problems, because then it's compared to other currencies, and there's all this trading goes back and forth, and values go up and down in that way. But essentially, money is based on the trust that the people are going to produce enough goods and services that can be exchanged around the world for value. That's it. There's nothing tangible today. Maybe one or two holdouts in the world, but for the most part, there isn't any place in the world where money is based on anything tangible whatsoever. And since that's the case, now they transfer money by digital signal with the computer, and what you own is on a balance sheet, and that's it. It just figures, and we use this handy stuff, because this is really handy, by the way. It's a lot easier than carrying pigs and chickens and cattle around.
Absolutely.
Right? Or gold. Right? This is very handy stuff. And that's all it is. And some people are afraid of this stuff. If you want to be prosperous, in the really larger sense of the word, this is one of the aspects that you're going to have to be comfortable with. Because your prosperity is going to involve sharing and exchanging with other people in all sorts of ways. And if you're not comfortable with the medium of doing that, then you're always going to be kind of resisting it in some way, or touching it as little as possible. Okay? And doing your best not to keep too much around. It's amazing. Some people get so uncomfortable, they'll win the lottery or get a whole big inheritance and get rid of it just as fast as they can. Because they're uncomfortable. One of the reasons is an association of money with power. First of all, they associate this with money, and then they associate that with power. And some people are very afraid of power, because they associate power with control, and that's a bad thing. And it gets into all kinds of complications, emotional complications, over a piece of paper. But so I want to demonstrate something. If you're ready. I want to put this right there. All right, do something.
It's not very powerful.
Not very powerful,
fly.
is it? Uh-huh.
You take the...
Come on.
You can fly if you...
But that doesn't do you any good. It just sits there. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't have any power.
Right.
It's all what you give to it. And it's hard to use it well in a friendly way. The Irish have a saying that says, if you don't love money, she'll stay away from you. Okay? And they give it, kind of personify it. But if you are not familiar with it, there's something subconsciously inside that's trying to keep it away, trying to push it out of your consciousness, trying to deal with it as little as possible.